Since we posted the videos of our time in the Kimberley, many of you have been interested in the rock art that we saw there. And at the time we didn't actually know that much about it. But once we arrived in Darwin, we headed down to the State Library. So the first question we asked ourselves is, why is there so much rock art in the Kimberley? And this is partly due to the geology of the Kimberley. The Kimberley is made up of many different types of sandstone, some of which are more than 1.5 billion years old. Certain types of sandstone are soft and they've eroded over time with the rising and falling sea levels and the wind, whilst other forms of sandstone have remained hard, forming alcoves and cave walls. These caves provide a perfect canvas for the artists, and the stability of the sandstone meant that they were still visible for us to see when we were there. The Kimberley rock art is different to a lot of rock art in other parts of Australia, because in other parts of Australia the stone is much softer, so there's peckings or engravings in the rock. An example of this was the petroglyphs we saw on Dolphin Island in the Dampier Archipelago, which were engraved into the soft outer skin of the granite rock prevalent in the area. It is also thought that the variety of rock art in the area is due to the number of people passing through the area during the Ice Age. During this time, parts of New Guinea and Tasmania formed mainland Australia, and so there was a large movement of people passing through. Many of them were heading west towards the falling sea levels, and many of them were heading south as well. So you may be wondering why we referred interchangeably to the art as Bradshaw or Gwion art. The name Bradshaw comes from Joseph Bradshaw, who was the first European to take out pastoral leases in the Kimberley. He was also the first person to make detailed sketches and publish papers on the art found in the area. In the absence of any other name to describe them, the paintings of the intricate figures found in the Kimberley became known as Bradshaw art. Today, traditional owners in the Kimberley that identify with the figures call them Gwions or Gwions. Many of you wanted to know how old the rock art is in the Kimberley. To estimate the age of the rock art in the Kimberley, researchers David Welsh, Mike Donaldson and David Walsh all documented many examples of painting superimposition that allowed them to establish a relative chronology of the various art styles. David Walsh even went so far as to classify the art into 3 epochs: the Archaic epoch, the Erudite epoch, and the Aboriginal epoch. Art from the Archaic epoch is dated back as far as 39,000 years as a result of carbon dating done at Carpenter's Gap. This art includes handprints and other stencils that have been created by spitting ochre over hands and objects. It also includes depictions of terrestrial and marine animals. The art is largely created with dots and dashes, and these figures are known as irregular infill animals. The Erudite epoch is used to classify the Gwion art that we saw in the Kimberley. Researchers are unsure of the age of the Gwion art. However, carbon dating of a mud wasp nest found over a piece of art in the Mitchell Plateau has been dated at 17,500 years, so it is presumed that the pieces are at least this old. The Gwion art has been categorised into 4 categories. I will be using the names used by David Walsh, as they are descriptive of the figures, as well as the names used by Mike Donaldson, as these are the names the traditional owners use. We were lucky enough to see examples of all 4 categories when we were in the Kimberley. I will list the categories in chronological order. The first are the tassel Bradshaws, or Mumbi Gwion, or Nguru Gwion. These are ceremonial figures with large headpieces and skirts. The second category is the sash Bradshaws, or the Yulna Gwions. The sash Gwions carry dilly bags and have less elaborate headpieces and skirts. The third are the elegant action figures, or dynamic Gwions, and they're generally carrying out hunting activities and other action sequences. Finally, there are the clothes peg figures, or the Warrajai figures, or Delau Gwions. These figures are clothes peg shaped, and it is believed that they were painted in various types of pigments and ochres. Some of the ochre colours did not last on the rock, and it is believed that is why there are big chunks of the figures that are missing or hollow looking. The Aboriginal epoch covers painted hands, wajinas, and contact art. We didn't film the wajinas as these are the sacred water spirits of the current traditional owners, and we didn't want to film them without their permission. The contact art was painted by Aboriginal people seeing Europeans, probably for the first time, during the periods when the Dutch East India Trading Company was doing the spice run, sailing up the coast of Western Australia in order to reach Jakarta. We saw examples of this art in our episode A Tale of a King and Queenfish. It is thought by researchers David Walsh and Mike Donaldson that the Kimberley was uninhabited some 20,000 years ago. They believe that the art painted in the Aborigine epoch, some 15,000 years later, may have been painted by a different people who are not ancestrally related. This is backed up by the many examples of Aboriginal art, such as wodgina figures and hands that have been painted directly over the top of the older Gwion art. We also found painting of Gwions in the lost city that had been scratched out by later peoples. This may indicate that the Gwion art had little significance to some of the people painting later pieces of art. I hope you found this video interesting, and if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. This video was as a direct result of some comments that we received after we published the Kimberley videos. We read every comment, and who knows, maybe next time you leave a comment it might spark another informative video like this. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to pop them in the comments section at the end of our videos. Thanks for watching.